Okay, I've connected to Reiki, and so Reiki will flow throughout this class. So whenever you do it, you will receive Reiki, which will help relax you and protect your body during this practice. So we're going to do 3 rounds of Wim Hof breath. We'll just get straight into that, and there are other videos with more explanations of how it works if you haven't done it before. And I'll put a link to the Wim Hof website if you want more details of why do it, because there's lots of information on there and testimonials. And so what we've done on the 3rd round, we're going to do a plank hold, or you could do press-ups, or you can just stay sitting or laying down. And we're going to do that for a minute. So first breath hold's a minute, next one's a 1.5 minutes. The last one will be a minute, but with either press-ups, a plank, or just relaxing. And then we're going to do a prep for a handstand, headstand. So Wim does a lot of with his own practice. He does headstand a lot prior to going in the water or after, or he just uses headstand a lot. He's a big fan of yoga himself. So I'm going to talk you through some of the basic steps of how to do that, and some moves that help you with your core, including the plank, to get the stability and the balance and the right position to be able to maintain the headstand. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So we're going to start with, we'll do 30 in-breaths into the stomach, into the chest, into the head, and then breathe out at about 70%. We're going to do that 30 times, so let's get going. So in through the belly, in through the chest, into the head, release. That's halfway. We've got 10 more. Five more. 2 more. Last one, big breath in. Release it all and hold. We're going to hold this breath out with all the air out for 1 minute. If you do need to swallow, that's fine, but try not to bring it, let in any air. Really just go inside and concentrate on all the sensations that are now occurring in your body. Any tingling, focus on that. Find your heartbeat, see if you can slow it down with your intention. Okay, got 10 more seconds. Okay, recovery breath in. Breathe in, pull up through your root lock, stomach lock, into your throat, push up into your head, into the pineal gland, and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Round number 2. In through the belly, in through the chest, into the head, release. That's halfway. We've got 10 more. We've got 5 more. We've got 2 more. Big breath in. Release. Let it all out. We're going to hold this breath out for 1.5 minutes. If you need to breathe before that, take your recovery breath. Any point you want to hold your breath longer, just pause the video. We've put our bodies into hormetic stress. So we're now controlling our autonomic nervous systems, once considered impossible. Changing our immune system, resetting it, setting intentions for healing and recovery. We have 20 more seconds here. If you do need to breathe, take your recovery breath. If you can hold it, that's amazing. Okay, take your recovery breath in. Now, big breath in, hold it, push up on the root lock, stomach lock, throat lock, push up into the pineal gland, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Amazing. We'll do round 3. On round 3, we're going to do a minute plank hold or push-ups, or you can pause it and hold it as long as you like. Right, let's go. In through the belly, in through the chest, in through the head, release. You're halfway. We've got 10 more. Just 5 more. We've got 2 more. Big breath in, last one. Release and come into the plank. Either hold the plank for 5 minutes, do push-ups or half plank, plank on your elbows, or just sit back or lie back and hold that breath in. We're halfway. You're doing really well. Stay with me. We've got 20 more seconds. We've got 10 more seconds. And take that recovery breath in now. And hold it. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Push it up to the pineal gland. for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Just take now steady, even breaths through the nose. Come back into child's pose. Do extended child's pose. Just fall, open the knees to the wide to the edges of your mat, big toes to touch, and fall forward with your head to the mat and just relax, opening out the shoulders and compressing the hips. And let's just take some breaths through the nose. Just returning to your normal breath. One last breath here. And then slowly come up to sit in. Right, okay. This is not going to be a long practice. I'm just going to give you some tips on how to get into a headstand, like a yoga headstand. There's different variations. So the first one would be to have your hands on your crown of your head, and we're going to do that version, not the tripod headstand. We'll maybe do that in another video. It's slightly more difficult, so we're going to do the easy version first. So some of the preparing movements for a headstand are to get used to being in inversion and to get the strength in the core. So we're going to start with downward dog, because downward dog is a really good inversion. It's good for opening up the shoulders, but it's also good for having nice, good core stability. So if you come onto your hands and your knees and spread the fingers wide, so the weight goes through the whole hand, not just the heel of your hand, and then push up into the feet, and then just start walking. Let me just do a side something. Walking out the dog, so you're bending one leg and then the other, and then the heart, your heart is melting through to the floor. And we're going to try and work our legs towards straight and the heels towards the mat. But if you can't do that, that's fine. So still your legs here, and just find a nice still downward dog, and let's just breathe in this pose. So it's a slight back bend, it's a heart and chest opener. You should feel it all the way down the backs of your legs, and a gentle stretch in the lower back and the glutes. Even weight through arms and legs, so nothing is getting too much pressure. Okay, and then let's just walk your feet to the top of the mat between your hands, and then just do a gentle forward fold, just straightening one leg and bending the other, one after the other, getting a good stretch in the hamstrings. In ragdoll pose, so arms linked, no weight in the head at all, and then find stillness and roll vertebra by vertebra up to standing. Now we're going to do tree pose here, which may seem a little bit odd because headstand is on your head, but the body position that we have in tree pose is the same position that we have in a headstand. So the amount of core stability it takes to hold tree pose and the position is the same. So we'll come onto our left leg to start with, and we'll bring the right foot up, and ideally it will come into the thigh, the left thigh, pointing down towards the floor, so it's not turned in or anything. So the hips is this hip is quite open. If you can't get it up to the thigh and you are struggling with stability, then you can keep a toe on the floor and just put your heel to your ankle or you can put it below the knee on the shin. You can put it just above the knee. Never ever put it on the knee, because we don't want to have any joint damages during my watch. So this is already a balance. You're already using core stability to hold you in this position. What I want you to do is to knit your ribs in and pull up on your abs, on your hips, pull up, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to raise the hands up above the head if you can. Back so you can see. We're going to internally rotate the shoulders, so pinky fingers are turned towards each other, shoulders away from the ears, knit those ribs in, pull up on the rib cage, so you're standing up nice and tall. And as silly as it sounds, this is the position that we're going to have in the headstand, upside down with the body. So the body's not caving over forwards and it's not bending backwards. This lovely straight neutral spine is what we're going to have when we're in the headstand, and this is just going to help us with our stability. Just breathe here. Okay, and we're going to change legs. So the stand onto the right leg, you can either bring the left toes to the heel to your ankle, below the knee, just above the knee, or into the thigh ideally. And then again, we're going to raise the arms up above the head, internally rotate the shoulders, shoulders away from the ears, knit the ribs in, pull up through the pelvis, pull up through the waist. So you're really lengthening the body to gain stability. And let's just hold it, take some breaths in and out through the nose. If you're struggling with stability in this pose, you can find a point on the wall ahead of you and just stare at it, and I find that helps. But then if you're neck's down and you feel ready for the next challenge, you can close your eyes. And if you're struggling to balance with your arms up, you can bring them down to prayer pose. And then if you wanted more of a challenge, you can put them behind you in prayer pose to get a shoulder opener as well. Take it to the level that you want to, where you feel like you're pushing yourself without risk of damaging yourself. Okay, amazing. Right, as I said, this is quite brief. So there's only two more poses. One more preparatory pose, and the next one is headstand. So the next one we're going to do is called Dolphin Pose. And this, it's like downward dog, except we do it on our elbows. So our elbows are shoulder width apart on the floor, like so. We're on our knees, and what we're going to do is push up in with our legs into downward dog position, and then if you can, walk them a little bit further up the mat, because we still want to try and open out the heart. So our legs are in downward dog position, but we're on our elbows. Try and keep the weight even through the feet and the arms here, so you're not actually putting too much strain on the shoulders. It is quite tough on the shoulders, this one, so we're just going to hold it for one more breath. And then come down to the knees, just come back into child's pose, give those shoulders a little stretch. And then come up, and as promised, no more ado, we are going to try our headstand. So I'm just going to take my hair out, because you can't do a headstand with your hair in a bun, it turns out. Right, so to get into headstand, we're going to do it really, really slowly. You can do it against a wall if you want to. However, the more you get used to doing it against a wall, the more you'll want the wall. So I would just take it very, very slowly at your own pace, lifting one leg and then the other, rather like, so you gradually build your security with it, rather than use a wall. But it's up to you, it's your practice. So yeah, you do you. Right, so what we're going to do is take we go with our crown of the head onto the floor and we sort of cup the crown of your head with your hands. So it looks like, so we're right on the top of our head. Oh, I meant to say as well, if you want to get a softer mat to do this, that's also a good idea, because it just takes some getting used to doing a headstand, because it's a lot of pressure through. Oh, and if you have any neck injury, please don't do this, because it's a strong compression. What I would probably do is a shoulder stand. So if you want a tutorial on that, put a note below and I can do that too, because that will stretch the neck, not compress it. Okay, sorry, digressing. Right, so we're going to go with our crown of the head onto the floor and we're going to cup it with our hands like so. So right on the crown, so not on the forehead, not on the back of the head, and our elbows and our hands are going to take some of the weight of the head and the body. So not all of the weight is going through the head. And I'm currently on my knees. I'm going to push up onto my feet like we did in that dolphin pose. And then take up one leg at a time. I'm a bit wobbly today. And then try and get your balance. Use your elbows and your head to balance, and that position that you had in tree pose, find that with your body now. So you're pulling your ribs. It's so hard to talk upside down. And you're pulling at your ribs and straighten your back, so you're getting that stability. And then you just pop back down, and then we go into chapter. So I said I was only going to do the head in the hands version, the cupped hands version, and not do the tripod. But I will do the tripod version because that may be easier for some people, because you can do it in slower, in smaller increments. So we'll try both. So if you didn't like that version with the head in the hands, taking some of the weight and balancing through the elbows, then we'll try the tripod. So it's exactly the same. The crown of the head to the floor, not like the front of the head or anything like that. And then your hands are in chaturanga, so in that place, so your head and your arms are forming a triangle, tripod, hence tripod headstand. Okay, so crown of the head to the floor, hands in place, feet up into dolphin pose like they were in before, and then you could take your knees to your elbows and use those as like a shelf to balance. And then when you feel ready, you can take them up one at a time and balance like that. So some people might find that easier, but you kind of like, you decide whether you like the tripod or the head in the hands. And then you can also bring it back down like that to your knees and just come back to a wide leg child's pose. Stretch those arms forward and just take some lovely breaths and let your head reconfigure. It's so good for your circulation. And then slowly come up, and there we go. Pretty relatively quick and relatively simple. So there's two versions, and if you don't like either of those and you do want a different version, because they are super healthy. You can do legs up the wall, which is exactly what it sounds like on the tin, or you can do a shoulder stand. So there is something for everyone in yoga, for every level. Okay, thank you for practicing it with me. May the universe put you where you should be, with who you should be, when you should be there. Namaste. Sat Nam.